Tiger's in there.
Oh, nice! Woo!
When I was like,
Oh, yeah.
oh, that's a nice
You got
one.
eyes like summer sky. If you smoke could kill or die. And now it starts to rain, so let's enjoy it. I can't believe that this is real. And the way you make me feel, you make me wanna sing, and so I do. So if you want, I'll be right there. Anything you want for you, my sweetheart. I'll be by your side, and when I do get to see your smile, I'm up in the clouds and now we're apart. It will take a little longer to get you up right tonight.
My paddles in her neck.
You keep telling
Welcome to my new shop. This is it. Oh, you guys, I have so much to show you. In the next little while, I've been working so hard on turning this old garage shelter into a shop with tools and filing cabinets and signs, as you can see. But that'll be for another video. It's very exciting though. I've got tons of stuff in here, and my tools are all going to be organized finally for once. But this video, we're going to talk about my last fishing trip. If you've been watching any of my videos, especially the fishing videos over the last few years, last year and a half, you'll know that I have a somewhat rocky relationship with fishing. Ago when I was a kid, and then I got into kayak fishing last year after not fishing for probably about a decade or so. And I got really obsessed with the fishing in the kayak, and it was kind of tricky at first to fish, cast, not snag my lines on everything that was around me, like the lines on the kayak and stuff. So it took a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, you're stuck in there good. Man, when it gets on the line, it just gets in there.
Oh, is it really? You need pliers?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We have so many encounters with wildlife that one of the highlights was last year when it was in the fall, near the end of the season. It was really cold and windy, miserable day to be out there. I drove for like 2.5, 3 hours, I think, to get to this lake. And it was just miserable, pouring rain. It was a Saturday, and people were actually leaving on Saturday. They came out to camp, and then they were like, screw this. It is way too cold and miserable. And so we pulled up to an empty campground, and boat launch was totally empty. Nobody was on the lake. So we pulled out into the horrible weather and just thought, you know, I drove that far, so I was going to go fishing no matter what. My poor friend Emil, however, was in the stand-up paddleboard, and you tend to get pretty wet in those things. So it was about 8 degrees Celsius. So not a warm day. And for somebody getting smacked with water every few minutes from the wind and the waves, yeah, she didn't last long, and I didn't last long either. I was starting to get cold. But we had a really cool encounter with some loons who were doing some kind of mating dance, or I don't know what they were doing exactly. I've looked up mating dances of the loon. You should do it if you haven't. My Google searches are so weird. Oh man, look at them. Oh my God, they're like having a little mating dance or something. Oh my God, what are they doing? The heck? I think that catching 0 fish all summer would deter us, but nope. We were up for fishing in the winter. I hadn't done a lot of ice fishing at all, so it was like buying new gear for the fishing, for ice fishing. And there's so much gear out there, so much gear for every little thing that you can think of. Around here, people will go fishing in the spring, you know, like March, April-ish, as the days get longer, because other than that, you've got, you know, you're fishing in the dark and cold. It starts to warm up a little bit, you know, and lighten up in February and March. So we headed out around, I think it was March that we went out. And by then it had been a really cold, snowy winter. So the ice was very thick. We did a lot of augering, and I only have a hand auger. So we had to use that. And we hit a couple lakes and actually got a couple of bites. We were pretty excited about that because I also bought a fish finder. And if you haven't used a fish finder before, man, it is one thing that is I was obsessed with. Like all I did was, it's like people staring at their phones. All I was doing was looking at the fish finder, and every time a fish went by, you know, we'd get all excited and there's a fish down there, I would exclaim. Oh, what are you gonna do? Reel it in.
No, because it's still just tapping.
Oh,
It's
is
just
it?
striking it.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
No!
Did you lose it? Ah! Shit! Rod holders for the ice?
Yeah, so it just like holds up
Oh.
like.
How does that work? Do they just... Emil's a regular bushcrafter over here.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
So to my surprise this summer, I finally caught a fish. I caught a little grayling in one of my favorite lakes to go to. It's this small little lake with a few different bays in it. And we just worked that lake so hard. We were in every little corner of it. There was a creek coming in. We went to the creek. We tried so many different hooks and lures and flies. And I actually caught the fish like pretty early on. And then later on, we didn't have too many bites. So we just had the one fish that day, but it was totally a success in our minds. I caught a fish today. Oh my gosh, look at that beauty. Mwah! A week after that, my neighbor who has a boat offered to take us out on a lake nearby. And he fishes this lake pretty regularly, so knows where the hot spots are. And he was actually out just the day before with some people, and he said they were just reeling them in like nonstop, one after the other. And this we didn't really believe, because it's been such a foreign concept to us catching fish that the concept of reeling in one after the other just didn't really compute. So, but we were open and we thought, you know, we'll believe it when we see it. This is a beautiful lake, Kusawa Lake. It's a long 75-kilometer long lake that's glacial fed, and it has grayling and lake trout and whitefish.
Came over a school of fish that were probably
Where are they now?
at about
You
a
scared them
depth
away.
of 70 feet, and they're probably about 40 pounders. More maybe. Whales breaching.
The whales breaching.
It's pretty cool.
What kind of whales?
The elusive Kusawa orca.
Kusawa orca.
Well, it's deep enough for the elusive Kusawa orca in here.
Here we go, guys. Yeah.
Me and my friend Emil, who I always go fishing with, and my other friend Cindy, and she was going to be the net girl for us. She was going to pull out the net when we caught all the fish that we were going to catch. So she was hanging around just waiting for the fish to come. And oh my gosh, you guys, did those fish ever come? They were just biting the hook like nonstop. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. And it was like an adrenaline rush. The fish just kept coming and coming. And we were catching and releasing them because they weren't too big at the beginning there. And Tom had said, don't worry about it. There'll be lots of fish along the way. We were going to be out there for a few hours, and he had other spots he wanted to go to where there was even bigger fish. And he was confident that, you know, we would be catching fish all over the place all day. So we just kept reeling in the fish, and it must have been about 7 or 8 fish that we brought up and then released again.
Starting to fight.
Woo!
Going back over that spot a few times.
Yeah.
That was a big,
Holy.
oh, that's a nice little.
Get the net under it there. There you go. Guider's in there.
Oh, nice. Woo! Beauty. That's a good size.
Don't bring it in unless you're going to keep it.
Fish number 2. No, 3. Is this your third one?
Yeah, I think we're going to get bigger though. The big ones will come in. Oh, this is
At about our 7th or 8th fish that we were bringing in and releasing, I started to get this little niggly feeling inside of me, just a little bit of doubt going, what if there isn't any more fish? Like, knowing our luck, this could be it. This could very well be it for us, and we may never catch another fish out here for the rest of the day or ever. And Tom was confident though, and I just had to put my trust in him. You know, he was kind of the guide. It was his boat. He had been to the lake a lot more than I'd ever been down there. So we just like put our faith in him and threw back so many lake trout. They were beautiful. Hitting this new spot and sitting there watching the rods, you know, going down. We saw some fish on the fish finder, not as many as there was in the other spot. The other spot was actually starting to die down a little bit, and it wasn't quite as full of fish. So, and you know, as we left, they were kind of biting less. So we were also getting past that period of where they were actually biting. So it was pretty interesting to see how that app that he had that said when the hotspot was for the timing of the fish to be biting, it was totally dead on. Really got to figure out which app he was using. You're wobbling the boat. So we get to this new spot, and guess what? No fish are biting. 10 minutes go by, 20 minutes go by, 40 minutes go by, and there's still no fish biting. We saw a few on the fish finder, but they just weren't interested in what we were throwing out there for them, even though the others were gobbling it up like crazy. So we hung around there, just kind of trolling back and forth. Tom had this perfect speed of 4.2 kilometers, in case you're wondering. That is perfect for trolling on this lake, for lake trout specifically. And so we just kept doing that and back and forth in this one area. And I had put my GoPro on the chest camera thing so I could get that kind of view, because I haven't had a very good view of me actually reeling in a fish. So I thought, yeah, the chest mount would be perfect. And so I had that on for a while, and then we just were not catching, and like an hour went by and still no bites. And we were, you know, after the excitement of the first little bit, this was kind of a downer. So we actually, I was in frustration. I'm like, oh, this GoPro is probably bad luck. And as I threw the GoPro down onto my bag, I looked at the rod at the same time, my rod, and it started shaking. So the GoPro was totally the problem. So I hopped up, and everyone was excited because it was finally a fish that we hadn't seen in an hour. So I jump up, and I'm like, is that really a fish, or is it just, you know? But no, it was a fish online, and started reeling it in, and reeled that sucker in.
Keep your rod up. Keep the tip up.
Are you on the net?
I got the net. Don't worry, I got the net. Gotta bring the fish a little closer though.
Oh, it's not bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Stacy got the fish of the day so far. Yeah, Stacy.
Hey, look at that's a
We're
nice
gonna knock him.
size.
That's a nice size.
That's a fish you're gonna keep.
Loops yeah, that's a good 4 pounder.
4 pounds. It's bigger than my little grayling, baby.
As you could see in the video, we were now pretty much a well-oiled fish catching machine. I was reeling it in. Cindy was there with the net. Emil was filming, and Tom was driving the boat and like shouting words of encouragement to us. It was a perfect thing. And it just, that one fish saved the day, because we were getting pretty bummed out thinking that, I think even Tom was having regrets. So after I reeled in the fish, we went to a little beach, took a little break, cleaned the fish, and then got back out and did some more fishing, because we did want to go home with a few fish.
That is 4 pounds.
How much?
4.
4? Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I pretty well judged that. Nice. Pretty good there.
We started to console ourselves and say, you know, if we went home with only one fish, we'd be okay with that. But no, we really wouldn't have been. We wanted more fish. We wanted like a fish each at least. But we finally called it and went, you know, it's like, was now about 7 o'clock at night, and we thought we should probably get home at some point. And we go to reel in the lines, Emil's rod starts bouncing, and she's like, it was just the light bounce though, and it almost seems like, you know, sometimes you can't tell if it's a downrigger when you're pulling it up or if it's a fish on it. So she just started reeling it in, and then all of a sudden we saw the fish flopping in the distance, and sure enough she had a fish on her line. So it was like just the last reel in. We were so lucky to have caught that other fish.
your arms right out.
Okay, you gotta do that my way
I
now.
gotta wet my pants.
Nice. Go. That was it. We headed home with 2 fish. We could have headed home with 8 fish total, but you know, hindsight is 2020, and I definitely should have listened to that little niggling voice inside of me saying, keep the fish, don't throw them all back. What's he doing? But, you know, I was just happy to get a fish, and man, that was some good eating. I brought it home, I cooked it up, I glazed it. The trick that I learned working for a fish plant is you glaze the fish by freezing the fish, and then putting it in ice cold water, an ice cold water bath, and then freezing it again, putting it back in the bath. I do that a few times, and then it coats it with this ice called glaze, and that really preserves it for a long time, and the freshness is amazing when you do it this way. That was our second successful fishing trip in a row. I have to say, we fished once since then and didn't catch anything, but this is something new that just started yesterday. I'm kind of into fly fishing now. So do I need another hobby or something new with new gear? No, probably not. But I just can't control myself. So I've started fly fishing. And I just took a course last night or 2 nights ago and did a little basic intro course because I've never done any fly fishing before. And I think I'm really going to like it. I got a rod, and I'm actually going to go out tonight just to try out some casting, try out my technique that I learned from the course. And I'm going to give that a try just at the local river, not too far away from me. I'm going to drive down there and just see if I can catch anything from the shore. Get this, the guy tells us that the fish are biting like crazy right now. This is the best time of year to fly fish because it's starting to be fall. The fish are ravenous, apparently. And he's like, you could basically catch fish anywhere, which I laughed at because that is not in my vocabulary, being able to catch fish. It's not in my wheelhouse, being able to catch fish anywhere. But we were there, and there was one kid who was saying, yeah, I caught 16 fish at the bridge the other day, just kind of casually. And I was like, what? Oh, wait a minute. What? Did you just say you caught 16 fish? He's like, yeah, just down at the bridge. I'm like, okay, what bridge is that? I'm taking notes. And then, okay, where else are you fishing? And what are you using? And so I'm pretty hopeful that in the next few weeks, I'm going to have some successful fishing trips. I'm basically going to go out almost every day and just give it a try. So stick around if you want to see more on that, and I will definitely be bringing those videos to you. This is, the shop is going to be my next video. I'm going to give you the lowdown on how this all came to be, and show you some of the stuff in it. Here's a little sneak peek. Let's do a little pan around here. And look at that. Oh my gosh. I have a pegboard and everything. How exciting is that? Yes, so I'm still in the process of organizing this because I have so much stuff between all of my dad's stuff that I brought up here and all of my stuff. I've got like tons of duplicates of tools and stuff, and I'm now organizing my tools and winter stuff that's going to be in here. My fishing stuff is over there, my chainsaw stuff. And my summer stuff is going to go to my other shed that is in behind the cabin. So that shed is usually pretty hard to access in the winter because of all the snow. So I'm going to put stuff in there that I don't need, and then I really only have to clear a path to this shed in the winter. I won't have a place to park my truck, so that's okay, because I swear I just spend so much time out here just hanging out. It's like my little cave out here. I just spend so much time out here because it's just a lovely place to come out and hang out and work on stuff. Like I have some chainsaw maintenance I need to do. I have, look at this, I have a bench over here. Look at that. A free bench to work on stuff. So that's the latest on the fishing and all that's happening, and I hope to get this shop video out in the next little while. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. We had a few bites over the years. Life, other people. Stacy, don't go ad lib. Also a great fish for fishing. A great fish. It's a great leg for fishing. Emil's bait. So let me know next time. Thanks for watching. What's that?